cries for our care of the improvement of our environment have never been louder. For decades, we have strived to reduce, reuse, recycle in our daily lives, but not always necessarily considered in building and construction practices. Hi, my name is Chris, and today I am here to discuss the benefits and why green building practices should be used in modern day construction. For years, there have been improvements to not only solar panels, wind turbines, and geothermal heating technologies, but we've also seen drastic improvements in lighting efficiency and material use. But how does that affect businesses and the construction process? It all comes down to the money. When it comes to businesses, universities, schools, and even home ownership, the amount of money put into the project needs to be reflected in the output. What are they gaining financially from doing this, as well as the moral responsibility we do have for the environment and our local communities? In 2013, pharmaceutical manufacturers spent over $806 million on electricity and roughly about $350 million in fossil fuels to run their manufacturing plants. Why is this important? Right now, dealing with the coronavirus, pharmaceutical companies are sort of at the forefront. When we think about healthcare and human health, these are all things that are put into play in our building practices, and then the out cost for these practices is shown in these very drastic numbers. And again, this is according to Energy Star, which is a leader in the nation as far as products and statistics for energy consumption. According to the Green Building Council, green homes and businesses generally use 20 to 30% less energy and can have saving costs of up to 60% in most cases. Schools and universities have even been able to reduce costs by 30%. And again, when introducing these practices, the EPA has noticed less absences from its students and employees and improved test scores. This can be contributed to better air quality, better natural lighting used in the building, and again, reducing that need for heating and cooling, letting the building work for you and not have uncomfortable students and employees. According to open source media, by 2025, 75% of the working force will be millennials. What is important to millennials and future Gen Zers? The environment, how we're protecting it, how we're reducing our material usage, and we want to work for companies that are improving our environment and have good morals and values. Healthy employees and students mean higher retention, less likely to lose employees over time, and also increases productivity. We've seen this in the case study by the Green Building Council as far as students and their performance levels, and the workforce, the same natural daylighting, comfortable air quality, and morally green practices tend to retain more employees to that company. Long term, they want to continue to work there. They like the beliefs and the morals that the company hold, and that is true within themselves. So again, great for business. You don't have a higher turnover rate in your company, and you are able to retain more of the employees and clients, for that matter, depending on the business. Dismissal of these practices will have a long-lasting effect. With our growing population, cities are getting larger, more and more homes are being built. We are drastically using up the resources that we do have on this planet. And it is time to start reusing some of that and thinking more efficiently and wisely on how we're going to use them. According to the Green Building Council, 39% of all global energy carbon comes from buildings, which is a pretty big number when you think about the entire world population. We tend to think of other things like airlines and cars, but buildings themselves, things we are in every day, use every day, work, school, play, all attribute to our carbon footprint and emissions. And also from the EPA was that heating and cooling in buildings uses nearly half, or 43% of all the energy consumed in the United States is simply used just to heat and cool the building. Now, to reduce that, again, we're talking wind turbines to generate electricity, solar panels to also generate electricity. As far as heating, new modern technologies and geothermal help to heat buildings as well as cool buildings. And then again, using the sun and windows to our advantage to reduce the need to turn on the heat or turn on the air. So in conclusion, there is no better time than now to demand action. When it comes to building developers, home builders, community builders, and even cityscapes, city planners, the time to use green building technologies is now. We've kind of worked out all of the bugs in the early years. We are now a few decades into this, and the development of technology has never been greater. There's also great tax incentives for businesses and homeowners to implement these practices into their homes and buildings. And again, this is bringing more people into the workforce, creating a better morality across the board, and protecting something so precious as our planet. Thank you.